What's up, guys? So, some of you have inquired, how come I can't get the LPN or promissory note or negotiable instrument off of blacksite32.com anymore? That's because, as always, people, I try to keep it fair and square, and I always try to do right by you guys. So we have noticed a dip in the effectiveness of the promissory note. Now, like I said, it's probably because the banks are out there like, well, we don't want to, just write this off. They know about our dirty little secret. So I toyed with the idea of keeping it on there, but I just don't feel right charging people for something if it's not doing what I tell them it can do. There will always be one or two exemptions to the situation, to the case, but I just feel that it's time to remove that particular product. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not still working. I mean, I would say right now it still has a probably 60 to 75, even 80% success rate. But just with these banks out here, see, the whole thing too is I don't want people paying me for something and then, you use it and then you're having difficulties. When we first started doing this way back, they were flying through, easy peasy, but so here's what we're going to do. Now, keep in mind, when you send them these things, they have not been sending them back because they've still been monetizing them and doing whatever they do with them. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So if you do send a note and you want to take it further, you have to understand what's going on. You will, if you want to get it back, you will, and or get your debts paid off, you're going to have to be willing to take them to court. And they know that most of you guys are not really wanting to do that. So there, some of them who are shady, we'll call them Smells Wargo, and one or two others out there, they are just like on the catch me if you can type stuff. So we already know that there's a high chance of, I shouldn't say high chance, but there's a 60% chance of success and 40% chance of not. Now, we all know that they all operate with the UCC, and the UCC supersedes their rules. They have to abide by the rules of commerce, but they're just, some of them aren't. So let's do it like this. Now, as always, this is educational information. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just saying, for those people who still want to do the notes or take a chance on seeing if it'll go through for your particular institution, and whatnot. Now, before I get there, there are people out there selling illegal promissory notes. Now, there's a difference. Some people might say, oh, well, these are fictitious. They're not fictitious when you create them. You put your name on there, your seal, they are yours. They are then private. And this constitutes a new deal with the company, the bank, or whatever else in mention. They can accept it or they can deny it, but by the UCC, if they do deny it, then technically there is discharge, okay, by that particular code, which they are supposed to be affiliated with, despite what they want to say, okay? Just like somebody living in my house, you can't really make up your own rules here, okay? They agreed to these rules of commerce and they adopted the UCC, period. But anyway, at the end of the day, they're like, so what? You guys are little fish and we are the big fish. So if you want to catch us, you're going to have to report them to the SEC, the IRS, the FBI, the Attorney General, all those places, and still take them to court to actually get something done. Okay? If you're not willing to do that, then you might not be built for this. But people, like I said, people are still being successful. So what are we going to do? Keep in mind that if you still do this process, that they are most likely going to profit and you're just not, okay? So they like people fattening their books and they don't have to do anything. Remember that. So what I'm going to do now, I haven't seen anybody really do this, but we're going to do it here on the Wolf channel. Now, I guess as always, it's educational information, but let's get you going. All right, so how to make a promissory note. We're going to give it to you guys for free. All right, so once again, these are things that have been done by people. I'm not saying they work in all areas. This is educational information. Because, there's different things out there. And I'm not even saying you guys should try it. This is just for education. If anything, if you want to be sure, contact them first and ask them if they do accept either promissory notes, LPNs, international promissory notes, any form of negotiable instrument. Some of them will say yes, some of them may say no. So that's how you do it the proper way. Is contact them first, ask them before just sending it. Or you can ask them if they do. Well, yeah, I would say send them a letter, ask them if they do, and send it to the CFO of the company and him only. He's the one who knows how everything is going, so confidential to his eyes only. And then ask them if they do. You should get a reply back in about 20 or 30 days, and it'll say either yes or no. This way, you are not losing your note, okay? Because then if they say yes, you're good to go. If they say no, don't pay these people and let them profit off of you. Boom! Mess with me, Smells. Wargo. All right. So that being said, how do you do it? Okay, you're going to go to Google or Yahoo or whatever else, okay? And you're going to type in sample promissory note. You're going to have a whole bunch of articles coming up. You're going to have a whole bunch, if you go to images, you're going to have sample images right there. Okay? Once you have those sample images, you are going to create your own. Okay, now mind you, you've hopefully already gotten approval. Don't just send it willy-nilly. Okay? Spend 45 or 50 cents or whatever it is now and see if they accept it to the CFO only. Okay? Confidential, his eyes only. You have to put that on there so it goes right to him or his assistant. And just say this is a confidential matter. I'm interested to find out if you guys take negotiable instruments, whether they be bills of exchange or whatever else. Once they do that, go to Google and type in sample bill of exchange, sample promissory note, sample LPN. Once you get that, copy the information in there, okay, but remove any of those people's logos, numbers, or whatever else, okay? Put your name, your logo, the account number that you're working with, your family symbol or a symbol you can make up. Keep track of your own number so that you can keep. You have to keep a document, a notebook of who you sent them to and how much they were for and what number you prescribed on the list as your tracking number. Okay. Because if it ever needs to happen that you need to track it, say they try to screw you over, you have that tracking number. You can say, hey, contact the various heads of state, take them to court and say, yeah, check and see if they monetized with this number. Once you've done that, okay, you're going to go and you're going to then Google UCC negotiable instruments and codes, okay? Get those codes that talk about the UCC being valid and that these promissory notes are private and valid in that particular jurisdiction. Then you are going to put all that into your note. Okay, you don't have to have a fancy border around there or anything like that unless you want to. Okay, then you're going to sign it. Well, excuse me, I would have a notary section on there, just any clear open spot where the notary can sign it. I would put, have the notary stamp that and then sign it in front of the notary and then send it off with confirmation of delivery. Okay, so you have proof that you sent it. And that, my friends, is how you do a promissory note for your particular debts. Now remember, some debts are payable with these, some aren't, because everybody's situation is different. I can't possibly say all of your debts just because they're debts. But typically, promissory notes are for debts, and bills of exchange are for typically other things that you are trying to pay off or acquire. Okay, so look up this information before doing anything. Even though this is educational, some people out there always want to shortcut the steps. Don't shortcut, but that's how you guys get it done. For those people this applies to, use it. Talk to you guys later. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe on the way out. Now that your boy just gave you guys a ton of free credit. Talk to you guys later.